Trek Online. We're a free-to-play online RPG. It takes place about 25 years after Voyager and tells the future of the Star Trek universe. And we just had a giant expansion, which we're going to talk about today, called Victory is Life, which is sort of a sequel to Deep Space Nine. So we're going to talk to some of the developers and some of the actors who appeared in that expansion. So without further ado, why don't we start with bringing out some of the developers who worked on the game. Please welcome lead environment artist Scott Boyd, lead ship and UI artist Thomas Maroney, and lead designer Al Rivero. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good? Yeah. How's STLV treating you so far?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
I can't believe I'm up here.
Welcome to the big time, Scott. All right, you're part of the in crowd now.
Is this Scott? Is this your first panel appearance in Star Trek Las Vegas?
Ever, so beware.
I'm sure. Yeah. Just work it out. Yeah, they're working. Just share the mics. Okay. Be the kind of people who share.
Love you guys.
That was totally organic and not a plan in the audience.
All right, and in addition to these lovely developers who are joining us, we also have some very special guests. So please welcome Chase Masterson, Aaron Eisenberg, Matt Sturmstick, and Andrew Robinson. What's up, guys? That's right, and then it's all over the room. All right. Where do you sit?
Doesn't matter.
All
right, here we go.
So welcome, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you
guys so much for
joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for
being part of
It's
our
amazing that we got you guys to come in for Victory is Life. It was so much fun to have you in the game. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't let him walk behind me. As long as that.
I don't think we have this.
Shane, you said you'd be on your best behavior.
He did. He lied. This is his best behavior.
I'm really sorry. It's like a natural pratfall when somebody hits me, but it was soft. It was like a touch. I just have to overdo it, and it was just
It's right there.
obvious because I was on the edge.
We've lost control of the panel at this point.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened yesterday at the Trek.
You're the man. You take charge.
The life after Trek panel. Okay, I'll be on my best behavior. Trying to go back on.
We'll tell you what, Aaron. Since you got the microphone, I'll throw a question your way.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessary? All right. So, what was it like coming back to playing a character? I'm asking you a question, sir. Pay attention.
I thought you were moving on.
No, okay, no, right here. Table fucking hat. I can't. They're more famous for me.
Alright, so
All right, moving on.
Amaralita. That's it.
And I haven't even done anything yet.
This is the greatest day of my life.
But I'm having fun.
All right, so what you find, folks, you see on the screen right now is the full cast of wonderful people.
Woo!
How long ago did the planning start for Victory is Life? What was the genesis?
See, you weren't asking me a
Well, just
question.
get the microphone away.
Hey, there, Al.
Quite a while. We probably were planning it for maybe a year and a half entirely. Way back from when we first introduced the Lucari, if anyone remembers the Lucari, we needed a way to get into the Gamma Quadrant and to introduce the Herc, and so we wanted to build up what is the what's the big bad, and what's the story, and all of a sudden have to reveal the Herc, and thus we can then introduce Odo and have, okay, this is now Deep Space Nine story. And so basically, it was a Deep Space Nine story a year and a half ago, and no one, had to really do that.
That's cool. What was
I
driving
knew that.
Well, yeah. What was driving you guys to make a Deep Space Nine the next big thing?
Well,
Duh.
well, as I've said before many times, Deep Space Nine is my, is my favorite series, and it was I was very, very impressed from the very beginning. And when we started doing expansions for Star Trek Online, we weren't sure what to do with Deep Space Nine because there's one bad guy in the fiction. There's the Dominion, and we didn't want to tell another Dominion story. So at first we instead did a Voyager expansion because Janeway went through the Delta Project and came across bad guy after bad guy every week, and so there was a lot of stuff to choose from. So we kind of put DS9 on the back burner for a while until we figured out exactly what we wanted to do. And because there was a lot of different crazy new things in Voyager, but so Deep Space Nine was special that they told more of a serialized story. And since we didn't want to make the Dominion the bad guy, we looked for who else is out there as bad. Because there's no one else. The Dominion crushed everybody, and the last guy was the Herc. And we've never seen the Herc. We've only seen one episode that really explored them, an episode sort of Kahless. And we knew that they had launched, they were last around 1,000 years ago. So they said, well, the Dominion's been around for 10,000 years. They probably know something about it, so we wanted to kind of tell a story connected to that. And what could be more terrifying than the Dominion could be the Herc. And so we decided to turn them into like a cicada or a swarm of locusts. And every 1,000 years they launch and they consume the galaxy. And now it's just gotten worse. And what's the Dominion's role in that? That's cool.
So to follow up on that, Chase.
Hi.
I know I've asked you this question before, but I love the answer, so I'm going to ask it again. What do you think it is about Deep Space Nine that makes people still want to be telling stories in that universe with these characters, now 25 years on?
Wow, such a great question. The relationships in this show were so rich, and we had the theme of family in a way that I think none of the other shows really had. I actually just ran into Ira and Sirach talking about this in the hall. The other shows, obviously there were family issues and some things there, but we had these running threads, this tapestry that was woven of parent-child relationships and the meaning of that in the light or darkness of war and peace and issues. And without going on, I'm sorry, this could be a very long answer, but I'll just say that worked toward the basic premise of Deep Space Nine, which was where, as the other shows went boldly places, you had, the Enterprise going, and that's happened in all of the other shows. We boldly went into our relationships, and therefore into ourselves, and we challenged ourselves and each other, rather than the outer limits. And that is compelling for all of us, because isn't all of that our journey? Isn't that all of our journey? Well, that's a Dollar Girl, right? Woo!
So let's talk a little bit about the Herc. Al, you dove into their past and kind of their connection to the Dominion. I wanted to talk a little bit about the design for them. Thomas and Scott, can you guys dive into, when you're designing a race that you've never seen before in Star Trek, something that has to look completely alien, what goes into something like that? Oh.
I'm curious, just something you said, designing a race you've never seen before.
Yeah.
So when they designed the Dominion, Ferengi, they saw that before?
Yeah, in the show.
I think you meant us. We had to.
Yeah.
Like how did we?
Be specific on the question.
Well,
All right, answer that.
yeah. No, it's really exciting actually. It's one of the things I really love about working on Star Trek Online is taking all these minutiae. I mean, the Herc were mentioned, I think, in only one episode of DS9 as the race that conquered the Klingons. And you know, holy crap, like who could do that? So just trying to dissect that and figure out where we wanted to go with that. And as Al said, we kind of landed on, it'd be cool if they were like insect-based, but maybe they also had like metallic skin. And when you do things like that, you have to think about like when else was that done, and so you have to make sure that they're really distinct from like the Golians, for example, who also had kind of an insect vibe to them. And so it's just, you know, there was a lot of iteration, a lot of collaboration, and so we have a picture of her on monitor there, and we kind of landed with these giant bipedal creatures. But without spoiling too much of the story for anyone who hasn't played it yet, you know, they're not just monsters. Just spoil it?
Yeah, this is the bit. Okay, guys, we're going to spoil the expansion of this panel. If you haven't played it, just go la 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 la.
Guys, we just released
the next hour.
We just released it on console like a week ago.
That's true.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
But there's more to them than they're not just monsters. Like when you're introduced to them, they're very frightening, they're very huge and intimidating, but you learn more about them and their relationship with Dominion, and that's kind of what Star Trek is all about, right? Is taking these things at first the Klingons look like monsters, at first the Herc look like monsters, but then you learn more about them and their culture and why they are the way they are, and you kind of expand your horizons and perspectives. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I will agree on the fact that having a bad guy just as a mustache twirler is kind of boring. You know, it's like you want someone that, you know, there's a reason why they are the way they are. And, you know, the story is very interesting how it becomes that way. So there's a purpose behind how they act. It's not just, I'm just bad to be bad. And when you find out that there's a reason behind it, it makes it more compelling, more interesting to watch. And so, you know, coming up with the silhouettes, and the thing we want to make sure is when we're designing these characters that they're very recognizable. So making very unique silhouettes and very unique shapes that when you see them, like certain characters like Spock, when you see Spock in black and white, you know, hey, that's Spock. You know, when you see that, you want to realize that's her. So it's designed to be a very unique and interesting character. It is always something that we try and shoot for. And since we had no reference, we just had a mention of a word of a character, we could kind of go in any direction we wanted, which really made it a lot of fun for us to kind of be as creative as we wanted to be.
Did you guys put thought into the design in terms of making a creature that could be both like a villain and when you first see it and sympathetic when you learn later on?
I think there was some of that, and there are things about the way they look that we built into them that as you progress and as things happen, that does change a little bit. And you, so the short answer is yes. Like we made them to be kind of terrifying, but also beautiful in a way. And I hope that comes across as you play the game.
So Max. How you doing? I saw you stand up and take a look at that guy. What do you think Rob's reaction to him would be?
What guy? Which guy?
The Earth on the screen.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there's a screen down there. Yeah, it's a little hard to see from the table. I apologize.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Wow.
Where's my movie?
Will I spoil something if I say
Just
what?
say whatever you want.
Say what you want.
Spoil away.
I don't know if I understand can you see this also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not spoiling. I don't know what it is.
It's a her.
It's a giant bug.
It looks like a guy doing a handstand. Very powerful guy doing a handstand. No?
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's how I walked.
It's a very alien-looking guy.
I know that guy. He just looks like in close-up. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
There we go.
Can I ask a separate question?
You can ask anything.
Yeah.
This is your show.
I probably asked you this already, but when you do a movie and you shoot a scene, you know, the hero and the villain may be talking to each other, angry with each other, and then you see it in dailies, you see the film, you go, that's not the right tone we want for that scene. And you shoot it again.
Yeah.
But you do, is this animation? Would you call this animation?
Mm-hmm. You can call it
It's real life.
To go back and do it again, doesn't it take months and months of labor to
I mean,
it's not like taking a camera, okay, we want it done, we're going to do the scene again, but this time you be softer, you be harder, louder.
I'll touch on a little bit, but I'll let the experts chime in and take away. But I mean, it's not any different to say maybe how Pixar might make a movie, right? So we concept out the characters, and we go through iterations of that approval, we draw it, and then, okay, that's what we want, and then the artist sculpt it and animate in 3D, and then and we can change and tweak it there. And so it's cheap to do it on paper, and then you do it in the computer, and then to do the scenes, which we'll see a little bit later. Some of the scenes, that's where kind of Scott comes involved, and he storyboards it. He does storyboards.
When the scenes come to life, do you ever say that's not quite the way
Yeah,
I imagined
and
it?
then, yeah. But when you have it, then you can just go in and say that's fine, and then you can tweak the cameras and you can change the animation to do this.
It's not as complicated as you think. It doesn't take that much.
So you're not starting from scratch?
No. We'll get a basic idea. We'll storyboard it out. Oh, Aaron's got this hands. Yes, go for it. Next.
Well, no, after your thought, though.
Oh, okay. So we'll storyboard out. We have an idea of how they walk and how they talk. We have an idea of like what their walk cycle looks like. But then we'll kind of storyboard it. We want the herd to come here. We want it to crawl down a wall. So we'll get the basic look of it, and then we'll play it. And we're like, he's not kind of walking as well as I'd like him to do. Can you change that? And the animator will come back in like maybe half a day, and he'll kind of redo it. But we have an idea before he even starts the animation as to what we want it to do, and usually have it done in a couple of days. So it's not extensive as usual.
You know, what's harder is not monsters, it's people. Getting Garrett's facial expressions, right? And nailing those. That's hard to get his facial
Especially
expressions.
Garrett's.
I mean, he's very subtle and smiley and
And as you're working, obviously you're studying the characters, each of our characters, and trying to find mannerisms and physical behavior that can translate into these animated figures. Are there certain characters that are harder than others?
Yeah, and they're the great thing, we have an animator on our team, his name is Weston, and he is a huge fan of you guys, and so with you specifically, Garrett, he wanted to make sure that your emotions and the way you kind of cock your head and you're smiling and put a lot of love into that, so you saw the cutscenes.
And it's clear from what I saw today.
Right.
That was wonderful to see.
Yeah, and that's him just being Weston and doing his work. And again, we would get him a storyboard and say, here, do this. This is where I want the camera to be. This is the kind of mood that I want. And then he had your recordings, and he could kind of place those in there. But all those little nuances and stuff, I didn't ask him to do that. He just did that because he loved it. He loved your guys' show. And so, Aaron, I'm sorry, we're not ignoring you.
Go ahead, please.
He wants to.
It touches on everything we're talking about.
Good, fire away.
I don't need to project so much. I'm sorry I scared you.
No.
I feel like I'm working with you once again. I'm sorry, I'll bring it down. Bring it down into a nice, intimate room. So the question I have is when you get our voices, are they before or after the animation is done, or are you able to animate our characters in game to the inflections and the stuff we did as voiceovers?
Why didn't you just say
the work
that?
we gave you. This is a new character I'm bringing in for the next expansion.
Here's the lovely thing about us.
Here's the great thing about our process.
Is that sometimes you guys all come in at different times. So sometimes it's like, hey, we've already done the animations because we know what the script is, but we kind of have what we're going to look like. But you come in and you'll read something, and we have it set up. But then when you read it and we get it to you, it's like, wow, he's really slow on that reading. So we have to kind of.
It's not my fault. The director told me to slow it down. Kind of like what Andy just did.
Yeah.
You know?
So there were a few years where we're just like, man, really, if he had only kind of done a better job at that, it would have made it so much easier
So that's
for
why
us.
Al asked me to do a couple of voiceover in my closet, right?
So we'll do some of them afterward, but our animator, again, he's really good at kind of adjusting things around. So we have a lot of play in how we do these things.
That's not untrue. We did actually ask him to record some lines in his closet. That's actually really he missed it. There's a couple lines I picked up, and he said, I'll just do them, and I'll just do them.
I was just kidding, Al. It was all a joke, man. It was just a joke. I'm just kidding.
But it's also true.
is also true.
Well, I didn't know if you really wanted it to be known, so no one knew if I kid all the time.
Well, now the trick is for you guys to go through and try and figure out which lines are closet.
Okay, so there is truth to that.
Message board.
I wasn't gonna say it was the truth. I was just playing, but Al got nervous and picked up the other mic and really wanted to admit that it happened. So I did do a few lines where I took my own recorder that I had and went in the closet with a wireless mic hanging, closed the door so it was as soundproof as possible, and did a few lines to see if you can find it. If you can't, give them all the credit.
All right. So, next up on our lovely screen, you can see some examples of some of the ships that the Herc fly, some of which are being, the one on the top right is now actually available to players. It just came out very recently. Thomas, do you want to talk a little bit about what goes into designing a ship like this, like a whole process of brand new ships, especially ones for people like the Herc?
We all have to stand.
What's your fairy dogging? I'm already
Go down
standing.
there and hold it up for it if you want.
I think it's bolted down. It's got it. You can try. Anyway.
Our legs still work, so I'm happy to use it.
Seeing it in close up like this and still like this is just such a cool thing.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Instead of in game, like, you know, yeah.
Big gamer.
Maybe you're like every night. Yeah, come on.
So, Thomas.
Yeah, Herc ships.
Yes, like a big gamer.
The Herc, again, just like the characters, we had never seen a Herc or a Herc ship, so we had a kind of a blank canvas to start on. We knew we wanted the ships to feel very alien and kind of imply the whole insect thing, but we didn't necessarily want the ships to feel alive, but we wanted them to feel almost like a wasp nest, like, carved out of mud and very asymmetrical. And so that's kind of the direction we went to with all these things. The upper, let's see, on you guys, that's the upper right ship is the Dreadnought, so that's the biggest one. It has lots of sections all tethered together, very kind of chaotic, and that actually kind of ties into the lore behind the Herc and why they are the way they are, I think. These kind of order and chaos motifs in their ship design. The one on the lower right is the Herc Swarmer. And the Herc, while designing the ships, it's not just about art, it's also about how they play. And so the Herc Swarmers are very interesting because they do everything they can to get behind you and team up on you and shoot you in the back over and over again.
And it's the worst.
Yeah, it's the worst, but it's a very different type of gameplay. It makes them very challenging to play. And it's really cool. Their front has this big beam that comes off and shoots them. So designing all of that together in concert was really cool. And then creating the skin material for them, we wanted to again feel like germanium, and isn't part of the lore is that the sword Kalis was made from I heard.
Yeah. So the Herc are germanium based, which is the next element on the periodic table that can actually form four bonds. I'm actually a biochemist, but I didn't want to make it. I didn't want it to be silicon based because everyone was silicon that we knew was an ant, and we knew it was going to be a monster. So when we started introducing germanium around, I didn't think people would get that also could be theoretically biological based. And so their carapace is germanium based, and the sword of Kalis we discover is made from a carapace of a Herc, which is also germanium metal based.
But speaking of ships, so you also got the chance to upgrade and redesign some ships we've seen before. Specifically, in this case, we're talking about the Cardassian and Jem'Hadar ships that came out from Victory's Life. How do you go about updating isn't one of those Garrick's flagships?
Yeah, the one in the middle there,
Yeah.
the CUV Tane.
That's your ship, Andrew.
Yeah.
This ship is named after, it's worth noting that Garrick's ship is named after his father, Tane, so he's a bigwig in the Cardassian Empire.
So Thomas, what goes into designing a ship for the 2410s from classic design?
Usually.
The upper left one of the others. Yeah. That's
You want me to go back? You want me to go back? Tell us about the upper left ship, Thomas.
I believe that's the Herc battlecruiser.
Oops. Sorry.
Again, it's all about the kind of Herc motif is all about this order out of chaos. You don't see the bottom, so the top is very elegant, but the bottom has lots of little prongs and thistles and things like that to reinforce the idea that like under this smooth carapace, there's a lot of activity going on, and it's a very dangerous and disorganized thing. So it was really fun to work with them. They're very unlike other Star Trek ships that you've seen, and you know it's always a challenge making something brand new and still trying to make it fit within the world of Star Trek.
How does it attack, as in how you described the other one, all gets in behind you? How does the one on the left, what's its main strategy?
Right, so the main strategy...
How do you shut it down? Shut it down ASAP.
So the main strategy would be with the bigger ships for the Herc. They are all about kind of tanking while the smaller ships take you out. So the smaller ships are the ones that actually really engage you and try to destroy you from behind. But the bigger ships will they have a special ability where if you attack them in a certain direction, their shields get actually stronger in that direction to the point where it's very, very hard to damage them unless you move around and try to attack them from another aspect. So they're soaking up damage while the smaller ships are trying to damage you as fast as they can.
They're trying to eat you. They're trying to eat you.
Yeah.
So is there a collective mindset?
No, that's actually
Oh,
that's actually a really good question. No, and it's important because we've done insect race before. We did the bluegill parasites, and they had a queen, and of course, the Borg has a hive mind's queen. He very specifically did not want the Herc to be a collective and have a queen. It's just it's a regular trope that you go and you kill the queen, and then it's all over. These are more like they're more independent and sentient. They're more like locusts as opposed to a colony.
So going back to this bad boy, what goes into updating ships for the 2410s?
It's really exciting to take existing ships like the Cardassian ships or the Dominion ships and advance it forward. So obviously Star Trek Online is set 30 or 45 years into the future. And so what do Cardassian ships look like in the future? And one of the cool gameplay things we have now in Star Trek Online is a thing called specializations, where you can specialize into being like an intel officer. And so the Cardassian ships, per Garrick, are very intelligent, spycraft focused ships. And so we gave them a cool new black kind of stealth fighter hull. You notice like the old Galley class ships are brown and tan, but these ships are black and a little sleeker, a little more upgraded. It's usually we start with, okay, what do we want these ships to do? How does that inform how they look? And so that helps with things like shape, size, details, all that kind of stuff. The Gemini ships on there are all part of Odo's special fleet. So Odo has rejoined the Great Link. He is now part of the Founders, and Victory's life starts with him creating a special fleet to deal with the Herc threat. And so these ships are representative of that fleet and special technology that he's crafted to kind of take on these new problems. So we wanted something that was a little sleeker and more cohesive than the old Dominion ship designs. The whole material is a lot more metallic. We do have some purple in there because that's Dominion's favorite color. But we also wanted them to feel a bit more like kind of instruments of war. We took a lot of inspiration from like the A-10 Warthog and other things like that to make them feel a little more dangerous and threatening, and still keep the footprint that the other Dominion ships in canon had.
That's cool. All right. Well, yeah, go ahead. Please, Eric. Fire away.
I got another question. So, I think what's on everybody's mind here, as well as mine, is where's my ship? I think the applause speaks for itself. Except for a few of you that didn't clap. You're going to lose a lot of money today.
So, I mean, Captain Nog. Nog is the captain in the Star Trek Online.
Say that again one more time.
Captain Nog. He is captain of the USS Chimera. which is a Starfleet ship that actually is a really cool ship. It can actually transform.
There's a ship.
Yeah.
USS Chimera.
No,
That's a badass ship.
yeah.
It's pretty.
No, you
Aren't you
can.
proud, Mom? Aren't you proud? Thank you.
Okay, I promise after the panel I will run around the room and show everyone the picture.
I'm very disappointed how you called me on to be on the stage and you don't even have my ship up big. I'm just
I assume you've already saw it because you've been
you
playing
got
all this
Paris.
stuff, right?
You got the bull. You got the bull.
You got the game, right? You played it. You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I did. I've been playing it like crazy. Crazy. Me and Leah every night.
What's up, Max?
The Garrett ship, I don't know if you know the tarot deck, but that looks like the tarot card for the devil.
That's very appropriate.
You know, I'm
It's over here.
that's playing into a stereotype.
Wait,
He's not happy, Al. He's not happy.
Max, you have a question?
I've already seen him angry.
The Victory is Life game.
Can I ask? I'm curious. How many have tried playing it? Played it?
That's why you're here.
So basically, this whole panel's for us.
All right.
They all are.
Well, why don't we go home for a little bit? So here we go. Not you, that hold on. So here we can see this is the completely revamped exterior model of Deep Space Nine that we put in the game with Victory is Life. Superstar 3D artist Tobias Richter remodeled it for us and put it into the game based on the one he made for the Deep Space Nine documentary.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I had nothing to do with it. Thomas, you want to talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so basically, the environment artist guys, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, spent a ton of time, months, rebuilding the inside of Deep Space Nine. It looked beautiful. We got to show you guys some of that and walk you through it while we were in the development process for Victory's Life. And I was just really bummed because we didn't have time to do the same thing to the outside of the station. And so one night I'm up, my computer at like 2 in the morning, and I'm just kind of glumly searching Google for reference pictures of DS9 in case I had time to do it myself. And then I found Tobias's model, and I was just like, oh man, why can't we just use that one? And then like a minute later, I'm like, why can't we just use that one? so thankfully I had a relationship with Tobias already. I reached out to him, and he worked with us to do it, to make a new, it's based on his really high detail model. There's a way for us to bake that down into something we can actually put in the game, but it's a phenomenal model, and it really added kind of a great layer of polish and legitimacy to the whole experience.
You guys want to see the inside?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Of course.
You might want to stand up for this one.
Yeah.
So here we have the revamped interior of Deep Space Nine. This is lovingly crafted by our environment team. It's pretty much completely show active. A lot of the work was done by the guy on the camera over there. Scott, do you want to talk a little bit about the process that went into the redesign of Deep Space Nine?
Well, as you so rightly put, the man here taking the pictures, say hi, Nick. So let me just kind of set the stage here a little bit. I've been at the company for a little over 3 years. When I got hired on, Nick was doing the white box, which is kind of the very early stages of this thing when I started. It's 3 years later, and he's finally getting this finished up. And I mean, this is his baby, this is his love, and he really kind of championed this, making sure that this was an authentic replication of the DS9, to get all the banners, to get the Klingon deli with the accordions playing Klingon. So Nick championed all this stuff, and then Donnie came on. Donnie, say hi, Donnie. Raise your hand, Donnie.
Donnie!
Donnie came on in the end and kind of, they had this to-do list of things to do, and Donnie was kind enough to help us with those things. And so he put a lot of love in this. Oh, and you see there's a lot of L cars in there?
There's the Klingon deli guy to the left. There he goes.
Yeah. There's somebody here that's right there. Say hi, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Tim spent lots of... Tim, where do you live?
in Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam, and so we had these nice emails back and forth like, hey, Nick was communicating with him, can you get me this one, can you get me that one? And you know, he did a really good job. Thank you so much, Tim, for doing all your hard work on that. And the one of the last things I want to, wow, that's cool. The one last thing which you guys didn't see, but if you played the game, hopefully you've seen it, Operations. How many of you guys have seen Revamp Operations? Okay, if you haven't seen it, definitely go see it, because...
Or come by our booth and we'll show you.
Yeah, okay, come by our booth and we'll show you. But, so, when we kind of were looking at the schedule, like, oh my gosh, we can only get so much done, and then we said, we're not going to be able to get Operations done, we're just going to have to throw the old one in there. Nick said, forget about it, and he spent a lot of extra time, weekends and whatnot, he said, I'm going to get this done. And he did an amazing job, Thank you very much, Nick. And it's a very accurate presentation. You guys, I think some of you guys, Jason, did you get to do a walkthrough of this when you
Yeah, Jason Max got there early on.
Yes. Oh, wow. That was dramatic.
Do you want to kind of comment on that, Jason, about your experience getting to do that? Kind of walk through that?
It was electric. It was really so much fun. And I have told so many people, just like in passing, have you played the game? Because it really is like a trip back to Deep Space Nine. And between the artistry of the whole experience as you go through the game and the storylines, which are fantastic, and getting so many actors back to do the game, it really is the answer to, can we have more Deep Space Nine? It really is. There won't be a movie or a season 8, but the game is fantastic and it is rich in so many ways. So yeah, it's fun to look at. And
good answer. Very good answer.
Aaron, as Scott mentioned, I got to do a walkthrough of this with Chase and Max when they came to record, but this is probably your first time seeing it, right? How does it look like to you to come to see it rebuilt like this?
Well, I'm just reliving the memories of the guy falling from the ceiling down. I mean, every time I see that, I go, God, I miss that guy. He was really sweet. Remember, Max? I think his name was Bob. Yeah. Did I just upset somebody on that?
You upset Ryan. Ryan programmed all the NPCs.
Sorry. He's really a great guy. He worked for 7 years as background, oftentimes in the bar. You know, he was like best friends with Morn. Yeah, it's great.
You'll see it. It's a guy.
At least you know I was paying attention. This guy, that guy right there, he won in an arm wrestling contest, season 3, against Martok. So that guy should be one jump Phil. So make that happen, Ryan. All right, one jump Phil just fell from the floor. He was actually cleaning out the air duct from the phaser that Cisco shot in the pilot. I mean, man alone, when he shot the hole, that's that guy's job, is to fix that hole.
Good job.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see that? And I love the baseball flags up here, the teams. Did anybody else notice that, or did you guys gloss over that? Very good. I noticed that.
The Ranky Liquidators are Ron's team. Ron actually owns that team.
Oh, very good. What was it, the Liquidators?
Ranky Liquidators, yeah.
Brunt never makes it in the field. He's always just waiting to play, right? Right, Dad? Yeah. He doesn't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Have I wasted enough time? Let's see, what else could I say?
It's okay. We got it.
Where's the flop on the stick? Okay, I'm sorry.
You're good. We're good.
I did want to actually talk about... I just wanted to talk about the baseball pennants for a little bit, because the fascination DS9 had with baseball I thought was really special, and one of the things that kind of set it apart from, one of the many things that set it apart from other Star Trek shows. And Take Me Out to the Holosuite is such a special character-driven episode, and you know, it's one of those things that I don't know if we'll ever get that in a Star Trek show anymore, with how much shorter the seasons are being, and everything has to be in this tightly packed arc or whatever. But Take Me Out to the Holosuite was such a beautiful episode where all the characters got to do such way, but still relatable to everybody, and so that's why when we started doing DS9, I got a wild hair up my butt, pardon the expression, to just expand on the whole baseball thing. And so in the future of Star Trek Online, there's a whole baseball league that got inspired by the original the DS9 team. And so
Now, is there a side game within the game where you get to play some baseball?
So, yeah.
Right?
Well,
Hold on. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, we did so we do a summer event every year that just, I think, is wrapping up now, and we actually added baseball uniforms to the game. So you can go to Ryza, and you can wear Niners uniforms or the Brand New Liquidator uniforms, and then we have emotes where you can hit a ball and hear the crowd.
And one of our players actually already made a baseball diamond in the Foundry, so you can actually go and play baseball in the game.
Excellent. Yeah. So I did notice one thing that was missing. So near where Jake and I would hang out on the second floor, closer to the wall, there was one of those, height things, when we keep growing, that we did with each other. Mine always stayed at 5 feet, but his kept going up and up and up. To a point where I couldn't do that. That's not in there. That should be there. I'm just saying. No,
we actually turned your spot into a place where players can sit in the game. So people sit
for the lazy ones, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So we wanted, we had you guys.
I want to make one comment for those who don't know. Michael Pillar, original writer with Rick Berman of the Deep Space Nine, huge baseball fan. Season tickets to Dodger Stadium. In fact, I met him by accident at Dodger Stadium. and he spent a lot of money on baseball paraphernalia. Memorabilia, I mean. He used to smoke horse hide. But it comes from Michael Pillar, who's no longer with us. He's watching this.
Well, you changed our lives forever.
Real quick, Michael's wife, Sandra, is here with the book about Michael. So if you want to know more about him. I love Michael. We have to
Come from Michael. He wanted to see what I did baseball.
He's a huge reason why we're here.
All right, so while we had you guys on here, we wanted to talk a little bit about one episode in particular from Victory's Life, which a lot of people have told me is maybe their favorite episode that we've ever done. So let's take a quick look at Quark's Lucky Step. Oh, we don't have audio? Oh, can we turn that up a little bit? There we go. Thank you. So, Quark's Lucky Step, for those of you who don't know, is our special heist episode that was designed by Mr. Ryan Levitt over there. It's a heist episode where you actually get to play as almost everyone on the stage. I'm sorry, Andrew. You get to play as Nog and Nita and Rom and Quark and go on a heist to steal back the Sword of Kalis. And it's an amazing episode. It's probably you guys' first time seeing any of that stuff. What was it like recording the heist stuff, and what did you have pictured in your head when you were doing it? Anyone who wants to jump in on that?
Go ahead. Yeah, you ready? You look ready. I had no idea what I was doing. Honestly, reading the lines, I really had no vision of what was really happening. We would go through them so fast that we would get the notes from the director of, hey, the player is doing A, B, or C, this is what's going on. And being a gamer of somewhat throughout my life, it kind of made sense to me. So really just trying to be true to whatever I was saying was really the main focus, but I really had no idea what was going on. That was me. I was a little lost, so.
A lot of gaming and actually animation is done that way. You just do what they tell you, but you use as much of your imagination and knowledge, obviously, as you can. But that's where Al's work really was helpful for us, for me anyway. Al, you are just, your vision, your passion, your sense of playfulness, your sense of justice, and so many great things about who you are as a person comes through in this work. And so you were able to very clearly say, for me anyway, I don't know about you, Aaron.
No. Yeah, go.
But just, say, hey, this is what's going on. And I just love the playfulness. It's like, Ocean's 11 for Ferengi. What could be better than that? Come on. Kind of. I'm not saying it is, but it's that feel of.
But what was hard? Oh, no, okay.
Just the heist aspect, that's all I'm saying. It's super fun. It's still rich.
Yeah.
Right?
So, folks, we're going to be taking questions here in a few minutes. If you want to line up with the microphone, go ahead. Al, what made us decide to do a heist episode this time?
Because it's fucking awesome.
I knew it was a heist, but connecting all the things I was saying, I wasn't sure how connected in the spider web of the story.
Right.
That's my point.
Well, it's always going to be hard for the actors, and we don't. There's nothing to show you. But
Yes,
you
exactly.
Come to do the video.
Exactly.
I think we have some other stuff to show them
Yeah.
later, right?
Yeah.
But just to answer the
And I
question.
love that. That's a great photo.
To answer the question as quickly as for why a heist, I had always wanted to do a episode where we had a Ferengi reunion, and it was something a long time that was in our brain, and it wasn't actually my idea, it was actually Stephen Ricosa's idea, our executive producer at the time, because I wanted to have we need to get the sword of Kalis back into the game, because that was the way that we could bring the Klingons into the war and win the war against the Herd. And so I just assumed the players were going to do it, and then it was Ricosa's idea, said, why don't we just have the Ferengis do a heist? And that's where we ran with that. So okay, yes, we can totally make it like Magnificent Ferengi. I actually think I talked to you about that, like many years ago, about one day doing a Magnificent Ferengi episode. And then Victor's Life gave us an opportunity to do that in a way that we had never done anything like that before. But I actually want to just take, before we go on, I wanted to just have, because I want to call out Andrew, who graciously joined us here at the last minute, because you just saw your stuff about a few hours ago, right? And give it up for his performance. Right? Wow, it's one thing to write these stories and create these stories, and then have these actors read what you wrote and what you planned, and we're in the recording studio.
The contest is going on.
Oh, it's the contest.
I think he just won the Sword of Kalis.
But to have we're in the video recording, we're in the recording studio, and they read their lines, and they snap into their characters like this. I mean, Max was brilliant, right? And it's just, and Andrew was brilliant, and you can see, they don't see us, and we're like, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. And it's just like, we're so cheering about how awesome it was. And between Weston's animations of getting Garrett's facial tics and Andrew's performance of capturing Garrett, oh my God, it's just brilliant, and it's just so good. It's really, and I think it's delicious.
I didn't ignore the cons. I actually had a follow-up question for Andrew about that. So much of Garrett, the character, comes through with physicality, like the head nod and the eye nose. When you're creating the character again in a recording studio, how is it difficult to bring him back without all of that there, or is it still kind of the same process?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It really is, and I may have mentioned this to you that once years ago there was a game where somebody asked me to come in and do Garrett, and I thought I could just go in and do it, and the guy was really upset with me because I couldn't. That's really upsetting. That's creepy.
They just found out how much photo ops are.
So to prepare for this, I really did have to watch several episodes, which I was happy to do. And I actually, when I watched those episodes, I realized what a fucking great series this was. All the episodes that I was in. The first few seasons. Nice.
Tell me you watched Pale Moonlight, right? That's the show.
I know, I did
That's what we were trying to capture, that essence of pale moonlight when we find out that Noto has been doing things not so nice to just justify the means, but this time Derek's on the other side catching him doing it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
All right, so we want to take the questions. Before we go, I want to show you guys one more thing from Parks Lucky 7. We got one of the opening cutscenes. We talked a little bit about how these things come to life, but I wanted to show it off. Show one of my favorite ones off to you guys. So this is planning the heist. I need audio again.
Where's Galen? Really? He shot the hostage last time. He's not invited.
Front, your database skills should help us locate the package.
Always happy to help, Grand Magus. Retreat, still a master of Rule 33. Aren't you, Grunt?
It never hurts to settle to the boss.
Of course. I presume you'll need my ship again, yeah?
Not this time. We'll need a ship that can fight, just in case.
And we'll have it, thanks to our friend here. Good. Everyone's here. Also, full consortium. Unbelievable. Tables win. Sure.
So why don't we open it up to a little Q&A? I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. That was all Tim. You, sir, what is your name and what is your question?
Hi, I'm JR. Thank you guys so much for being here. I loved first getting out of that station and being able to walk around and going into that temple. I could just have my character kneel down and just get my moment of zen and get a little meditation going. It's like, it's so soothing, nice to know I can go there anytime I want to. And it's like, even if I'm not really wanting to play the game, it's just like the fact that I can be there is so cool. Have you thought about having some busted holosuite episodes?
We would love to do like a holodeck expansion or season or something in the future. There's a lot. The thing about that is if we do say Dixon Hill, we have to create 1930s, streets or whatever. So there's a lot of work that would go into that, but I think the whole team, we've always talked about doing something like that.
You could call it job security.
I'm sure we'll have Evil Lincoln or something. Professor Moriarty is actually here at the convention, so if you guys go and chat with him, maybe we'll get him to do it.
Hello, sir. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is actually Max. So, hi, Max. How you doing? First of all, I want to say thank you to Aaron, thinking like a captain, telling us, well, how do these guys fight? What are the weaknesses for us? So appreciate that.
I put a lot of work into that. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. You deserve the captaincy. But my question was, if you can go a little bit into these new uniforms that you have, the Odyssey uniforms, what do we need to do to get that as like physical merchandise? Because that'd be fantastic. Those are the cleanest.
I can actually answer that question if you want. If you get physical merchandise of Star Trek Online uniforms, email Anovos.
Yeah, tell Anovos you want.
Yeah, Anovos just told me if they get enough requests for them, they'll build them. It's an expensive initial cost for them to get involved, but they need to know there's enough of demand. If you want Star Trek Online uniforms, tell them what you want, maybe they'll make it.
So get Anovos the demand so we can get Aaron a captain's uniform.
Yeah, we have a lot of Ferengi bots that we can get working for you right away.
Thank you guys.
Hello there. What is your name and your question?
Well, my name is Lisa, and my husband plays this game like crazy. And I wanted to know, like, way back when you're starting, oh, maybe we should make Star Trek Online. Did you ever think that you'd be coming to a convention like this and having a booth dedicated, a booth with people that are dedicated to telling everybody else how wonderful this game is, and to get people to join their fleets, and just to spread the word about the game?
So the backstory for that, for you guys who don't know, you can see them in the front row right there. One of our player fleets actually got a booth space on the floor this year just to show off their fleet in our game. Like, we didn't, they're just here to advertise them. Strike Force Armada, right? Yeah, Strike Force Armada. Hats off to you guys. Yeah, you can visit, they've got actually our game running at their booth. You can go and visit it and hang out on Rise Up for the summer event and go to dance parties.
And if you sign up, you can be immediately promoted to commander.
Yeah. And you can check out, they've got Vegas tribbles on tops of trees and stuff. It's amazing. You gotta go check it out. But they have a party amplifier, so you have to dance while you're there.
Did you ever think that would ever happen?
Loving it. This is fantastic. Not that that's rare, it's just very cool.
I'm one of the fleet admirals.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are.
The other fleet admirals in the red shirt.
So am I.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Can I make a comment real quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just have to talk here because, so.
That's okay. My next question was for you anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So, I've only been in the company for 3 years, and last year was my first time getting to come to the Star Trek Las Vegas. And I didn't know what to expect. And when I got here and I just saw the amazing stories of how many people love this game, people got married on this game. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I love the fact that the community here loves this game so much, and I love making content for you guys because of how much you appreciate it. So thank you so much for you guys for being out here and supporting us and for getting a freaking booth just to show us. Thank you so much, guys.
Wait, I'm sorry. You guys who waited when you said people got married in the game, did you get married in the game? Stand up. Please stand up. That is fantastic.
How did that work?
I already said it.
4 years now, we've been married.
That's amazing.
We were married in the game.
We were playing, I was in the UK, she was in Las Vegas. We got together in game in a fleet. We got to know each other and we started Skyping, and she came to visit, and I came to visit. We got married and moved here because this is where the convention is.
I think it's very important because with, 54, 52 weeks of the year, whatever many weeks there are in the year, we're making the game. We come here to the convention for a week, and it's a very different experience to have the personal stories like Strike Force Week when people got married. And that's the first couple that I've seen that got married from Star Trek Online. I've told the story before. There's a little boy, I haven't seen him this year, that he started playing with his father. It's the way that they bond. Him and his father play Star Trek Online together. And every year he's taller and taller. And he had a bar mitzvah with an Enterprise Staff cake made of Star Trek Online themed cake. And that's how he grew up. We have a developer on Star Trek Online. Her name is Jet, and she has been playing Star Trek Online for half her life. She's like in her young 20s and now joined us in the QA and now is a system designer. And so half her life was Star Trek Online, and now she's working on Star Trek Online. I think it can't be understated the amount of impact that you guys have on the lives of the people we all have. And they come and we haven't seen Deep Space Nine for 25 years, and then they get to see you guys again, and it affects their lives. Many people come to me and they got off drugs because they play Star Trek Online, right? This is phenomenal. And for me, it's super special. I've answered your question before. I never thought that I had an opportunity to sit up stage with people that I grew up with watching. All of these people, my favorite characters, and then being able to tell stories with them, and then to not only read and share the stage with me. And I just met Andrew. I talked to Andrew on Skype like for 5 seconds, and I had to talk with him, and he's like my best friend now. So I came over and we saw the game, and as a person he didn't know, and what it was about. So this is what it's about right here. So thank you for playing our game, and thank you for joining us.
So that is a wonderful note to end on, but there are a few things I unfortunately have to plug. Oh, you want to say one thing? Yes, go.
I just want to say thank you so much for the care and passion that you put into this game. It is so beautifully ended, and that's one reason why when we do a new episode, I always want to go to the office so I can see and meet the people who are making this possible and see the artwork. There's just so much care and passion that's put into every single aspect of this game. So thank you for doing that for us and with us, and for continuing Deep Space Nine. It just means the world to us. And there's one more thing. One person that we haven't had a chance to mention and thank yet is Deanna Peter. You are amazing. Deanna does the PR for this game, and it's a huge part of the reason that so many people play it. She's tireless, and Deanna's also put in a lot of time supporting and promoting the charity that I founded. So but that's a Star Trek whole another subject. But
Say
the
it.
work that we do. Oh, well, I'll just say, I do want to say this. When I've got a pop culture hero coalition ending bullying using pop culture stories like Star Trek. And the first year, this is very specific and I'll make it quick, the first year that we had our nonprofit status, right away, these guys came in and did a fundraiser for this work. It is how we started doing the work on a much larger basis, because before that we just funded it ourselves. You guys made it possible for us to begin our programs in schools. Now we're still working in Comic-Cons. Now we're working because of you in schools and in children's hospitals. You guys did that, so thank you so much. And thank you for doing that.
You guys are gonna come back, right, to Star Trek? Who wants to see these guys back to Star Trek? Everyone else is in the office except Andrew.
All right, so a couple of quick things. On Friday at 8 p.m., we're doing a Meet the Devs at the iBar, so if you guys want to come and hang out with us there, please do. And then on Sunday at 10:30 a.m., we're going to be having another panel right in here talking about our newly announced content coming out in the fall called Age of Discovery. You may have heard of it. And a certain Miss Mary Wiseman will be joining us for that panel, so don't miss it. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Thank you guys so much for being on the first time to everyone.
Yeah, come on, front. You got a soccer ball for me?
You want a milk crate?
No, I didn't know that.